What's good, y'all? You know who it is. It's your boy, Big Tank Hank, coming at you with a new live stream. Today, we have a beautiful soul, beautiful spirit, Miss Foxie Fishes. Been waiting on her to be on for a while, y'all. She was making us wait, but hey, it's going to be worth it. I'm about to bring her up. Here she comes. What's going on, ma'am? What's going on?
Hello. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Good, I'm
Sorry
good,
for
I'm
the
good,
long
I'm good.
wait. Life happened.
Yeah, hey, most definitely. I definitely understand about life happening. I do. Let's see who we got in the chat. Casual Aquatics, I see you came in first. Casual say he won't be able to see the whole stream tonight, but he's gonna catch us on the rerun. That's what he normally does. Mystery Snare Guardians, hello. See my wife, Isis Alexander. The legendary Alex Cardinal. What's going on, Alex? Mike's Aquatics and Things. Third Coast Aquatics. What's going on, Third Coast Aquatics? Craig Doniger. Craig's Catfish Cage. Geek Boy. What's going on? Aim. Smashing Spirit Fish. Hello, hello, hello. What's that? Smazing? Smazing. Aim Smazing.
Mhm.
Mary Page.
Love it.
Sister from another mister. What's going on?
Mhm.
S, what's going on? Thanks for being in the house. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
Great group of people. Hello, everybody.
Most definitely. How y'all feeling? Glad to see y'all in the house. It's wonderful. That's wonderful. All right, I got something that I need to get out of the way, but I better do it now, so I don't have to worry about it later. I have a pinned comment at the top of the chat. I now have memberships, but I have the most basic, smallest memberships known to man because I already feel a little crazy and funny, you know, asking for it. But I was informed, hey, when YouTube gives you, the options to use them because they help your channel. So y'all check that out. I have a little video that explains, what's going to be done, with the memberships and y'all coming alongside the channel. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Cause yeah.
Well,
Oh, Geek Boy.
congratulations on having memberships. That's a big
Thank
feat.
you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I really have a lot of things that I want to do with
Mhm.
this platform that's still on the idea of what it is that I'm doing now, but I just want to,
Mhm.
ramp it up a little bit more because there's so much more that we can do. I mean, outreach types of things, that I'd really like to make a part of this channel. But ma'am, S, thank you. Geek Boy and S, thank y'all. Patty, you in the
Awesome.
house? What's going on, Patty?
Patty!
Trying to sneak in.
Mhm.
Yeah, Miss Isis Alexander is my moderator and my wife also, y'all. I,
Hello,
I hear her moving
Isis.
around in there.
Mhm.
22 years. Well, I say 23 years. She's gonna say no, it's 22 years, but November 10th is gonna be 23 years. So, I mean, what's the difference? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, congratulations. That's amazing. 23 years.
Thank you. See, I'd
Soon
rather
to
remember forward.
be.
Hey, right? I think it's a blessing for a man to be able to remember forward than to forget backwards. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So,
True.
when were you married? You know what? I don't even know. I don't even remember. But I
It
do. I remember.
was 97 or 98, right, honey?
Right? Right before that boy was born. Yeah, I remember that. Thank you. Ma'am, now I know everybody in the chat should know you, but we're going to have some people watching the replay. For those watching the replay, thank you for coming and sitting through this and enjoying what we have in store for you. Introduce yourself to them, ma'am, and give them a little background on you, and bring yourself up to current so we can take off with this thing.
Okay, well, my name is Roxanne. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I recently just moved to Wisconsin um, a couple months ago in June. I've been in the fish keeping hobby. I've always had a fish tank growing up, but that was my mom's baby. And I never really paid much attention to her fish tank because I was always outside in the woods playing with my dog, Max. And like the creeks and the streams, or like picking apples off the trees, or just running through like the fields. Like that was my thing. I was very much a tomboy growing up, playing in the sticks with sticks and mud and the bugs. And then I um had C-spine surgery a few years ago, and I lost the ability to walk. Um, but I'm still learning to walk again. And I used to always love to still be um, out in nature, and I couldn't do that anymore. So my brother used to go on walks for me, and he'd bring back like hardscape, like driftwood and mosses. And I started making terrariums with those. And he started bringing back like ecosphere stuff. So I'd make ecospheres with it. And the one time, one of the samples had a little tiny pond snail in it. And I was fascinated by this pond snail. And I watched it in this ecosphere for about a year. And it made many, many more of itself. And I was just so intrigued by it that I was like, you know what? I'm going to set up a little aquarium for these snails. And I did. So I set up an aquarium for pond snails. And that led me into other types of snails and live plants. And it started into fish. And then I accidentally murdered all the fish chasing pH because I didn't know any better. So I stopped with the hobby, and I took 1 full year to binge watch everything I could fish related on YouTube. And I learned. And then I tried again, and I've been healthfully keeping fish and snails ever since.
Good deal, good deal, good deal. The bladder snails. I like a
It
snail
started
myself.
with
I
that.
can't even I can't even I can't even trip. I really do.
I mean, some people would say I'm a little snail obsessed, but I just love them so much.
I'm not gonna call you snail obsessed. I wouldn't do that. But it's okay. Hey, a little snail never hurt anybody.
No, and you can actually learn a lot because by watching them, you yourself have to slow down to pay attention to all they do because they move so slowly. So to watch them fully over a few hours, you get to see what they're up to. But if you're impatient, you're not sitting still, you can't see what they're up to. So kind of learned patience through them, because learning to walk again can be very frustrating and painful, and it can be a lot, but um, they taught me to just take it slow. They've helped. As small
Right.
as they are, they've definitely helped.
That's a good thing to it, causing you to have more and better focus. Most definitely. That's cool though. That's very cool because I always wondered, like snails.
Mm.
How she's so excited about snails?
They're just so awesome. They truly are. And currently we have 12 tanks set up for mystery snails. We have 7 of the 8 colors, and I have one tank set up for white wizard snails that we're raising their young up in. And I'll be putting out a video on those guys hopefully this week because they're so fascinating. And I can't wait to share them with you guys. There's so many cool aspects, like they're filter feeders and they're burrowers and they give live births. Everybody needs to know about these guys.
Right? Mr. Snail Guardian says we're called Snell-it-alls.
Hmm. I mean, is
Oh,
there snail AA? Does Mystery Snail Guardians know that? Snail it all.
smell it all. I smell it all. That's
Hmm.
cool though.
And
That is
actually,
cool.
what was it, 2 weeks ago? Peplin and I actually opened up our store in Get-Gills, Peplin Creek Aquatics, and right now, if you need some mystery snails, there's some mystery snails up there for snail.
Ah, dun, 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 dun. It almost got by me. It almost got by me, but I caught it. Is that a website, web page, or y'all got a storefront?
It's on the Get-Gills. It's hosted on Get-Gills right now, but we're currently building our own domain, working on it. It's going to be a while.
Oh, okay, okay.
Pull in your cup or your lip.
Some coffee jumped out, and I don't know how it came all the way out. It hit me and burned the top of my lip, and I was confused for a second there. So I was trying to see was it leaking. I didn't know what was going on. Got a little coffee. I think I like coffee like you like snails. So the coffee's not alive though,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Oh.
No, I'm not obsessed. Is that on a timer over there?
No, the TV just went off the computer screen. Is the TV. But the fish are sleeping already.
Okay. So what do you have? What all do you have in your? Well, hey, this is gonna be a. It's not really a loaded question though, but it's gonna have a little substance to it. What all do you have in you guys' fish rooms?
Okay, well, we have 48 tanks right now between the two fish rooms. And we have a little bit of everything. We have shrimp and snails, obviously. Plecos, we have cichlids, um, angels, guppies, pseudomcgills, rabensis. I'm a little obsessed with rasboras, so I have most of them. Cories, different types of cories. Um, Goodness gracious, there's so many, so many. I'm like looking at the tanks to try to think what there are. Did I say angels? Yes, I said angels. There's a bazillion. There's a bazillion, a bazillion of everything.
Don't
But I
feel
think
bad.
like
All my tanks are right here, and I have to do like this with somebody. Hey, how many tanks do you have? And I'm.
and then I have to think back, did we set up any this week? Because you never know if you're hatching snails, you usually have to add another tank or two. On my scale.
Right. Add some fish to your snail tanks.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I did. I did that actually. I have a snail tank that I have where they hatch into, and I take them out when they're about pea sized, but I have some neon green rasboras just in there keeping them company.
Okay.
And I also have like CPDs and things like my tried and trues that I came here with, and I also have like Hillstream loaches and CPDs and emerald rasboras and neon green rasboras. Hmm. I think that's pretty much it, but I'm sure I'm forgetting most of them. I was in Borlei, some star sapphires, some OB peacocks. They are buttheads. Those fish are so mean. And some white lips. Those are really cool fish. And I got a new Blackmore goldfish for my birthday, and he's doing amazing. He's actually friends with a bluegill, surprisingly for the moment, so that won't
For the
last too
moment.
long. They'll be separated probably in the next few weeks. I think that's all the I think that's all the fishy life forms we have that I know
Hey, that's good enough. We're not gonna put too much more pressure on you.
of.
Let's see who Melvin, what's going on? Melvin's in the house. Father Fish, what's happening, sir? How do? Dolbeck Aqua Designs. Collaboration of Curiosities. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
All right.
She's awesome.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
She's been working on her fitness lately, and I just want to say I'm so proud of you, lady. You're doing so well.
I've been seeing you on Facebook. Go ahead. Go ahead. And I saw these pink birds that were on the side of the road. She said on her
Hmm.
trail to the gym. There's these pink. Of
Yeah.
course, here and I'm in Texas. Everything is pretty much drab. It may be big, but it's still drab. We have little regular birds. To
Hmm.
see wild birds like that. I mean, that's like unfathomable. It's crazy to me. I can't even picture it. Like that's
Yeah,
real. That's a real thing. A kangaroo. I mean, just
that's
wow,
their
there's a
squirrel.
kangaroo. Yeah, I'm like, there's a kangaroo over there. What? You know.
But also, if we said though,
Oh,
there's a bobcat in the backyard, they'd be like, "What?" But that's normal
right,
for us: bobcats and
right.
mountain lions and rattlesnakes. But also, they have a lot of
Right.
animals that want to eat them too. So,
Oh, Jack and Dan, what's going on?
hello, Jack and Dan.
What's happening?
Oh,
So,
he's resealing a tank. Well, ventilate that area, sir.
I like the fumes. I just don't want to seal the tank.
I was always afraid to reseal tanks. So if like a seal popped, I usually gave the tank away. So want to deal with it. I had a 55 tank seal pop on me in my apartment on carpet. That was a disaster. So I never want to have to deal with that again. I was always afraid like if I did it, I wouldn't do it well enough and then it would happen again. So I was just like, I don't want to do it. Because someone else do
And
it.
you just you just reminded me of maybe why I don't, really want to try to reseal a tank. Told a story on last week about this tank that I was given. I mean, it was a big tank, pretty good sized tank, but it was at a school. It was drilled, but looking back, I think it was more of like a terrarium because I
Hmm.
remember the glass being thinner, but in the drilled hole in the bottom, it had a plug in it. Like a little cap that you put down
Yeah,
in it and it overhangs. Now, back then, I mean, I didn't think about it. Now I'm like, man, that's common sense. What were you thinking? I wasn't thinking because it wasn't common sense for me then. You
exactly.
know what?
Common sense isn't so common. You have to earn it.
Yes.
You have to earn it and learn it.
I'm like, okay, the tank came with the plug in it, so I guess it's okay. Terrarium.
Hmm.
What is a terrarium? All I know is you put fish in tanks.
Hmm.
I hadn't seen a terrarium at that point, so I filled the tank up. I had some juvenile Oscars in it. I'm hand feeding them with a toothpick, cut little pieces of worm. They come
Hmm.
up, I'm feeding them. Oh, just enjoying this tank. Well, one night I was asleep in my living room on the couch. The tank was in the dining room, and I heard shh, boosh, and it's dark. So initially you're just shocked, like it sounds like water.
Yeah.
Oh, turn the light on. Oh, it's just gushing, out on the carpet. I was renting the place, so I couldn't pull the carpet up. I had fan blowing on the floor on this carpet for I know a month. And it went through this horrific scent, time and after
Mm.
that, no, no. I had a
I
hundred
had
and fifty
renter's
gallon.
insurance. I had renter's insurance, so it paid for the damage of replaced like the carpet and the subflooring. So I was lucky to have that. Otherwise, I would have been out of pocket.
But the house I was living in, I don't think they would have given me renter's insurance because
Mm.
they would have thought it was fraud. Sir, you're gonna try to claim this whole house on your insurance, you know.
Well, they paid out for a house that was 267 years old, so you never know.
Yeah. No, I wasn't going to even try it. Not at all. Oh. So what do you have as an aspiration for the future? Well, I guess I can say you guys, both of you two guys' future, in the hobby, what you have going on that house.
Well, we're really into the fish that we're into specifically. I'm into certain types of fish, and he's into certain types of fish, and we want to breed those guys. And we're looking forward possibly to maybe doing a store in the future. But right now it's just mostly like just the love of the hobby and figuring out like the little tips and tricks to getting the more difficult fish to breed because we have some rare fish that we're working with. Um, or we're having a little bit of difficulty not getting them to spawn, but actually getting the eggs to hatch. So we're still trying to work on that. But eventually we would like to open a brick and mortar store and um, breed fish on site and go that route. But for right now, we're just starting with a little bitty store and get gills while we're working on building our own site name.
Okay. John Larson here, Fishy. What's going on? What's going on, y'all?
Hey
So
guys.
in your brick and mortar, are you gonna want it to be like a quaint, a quaint little uh like mom and pop LFS? Or are you guys looking at the big not box store, but we have some big ones that are actual, you know, true to the term fish store, but they're huge and they have all the big ponds in them and hardscape. One side of the whole store is hardscape and food and. So what are
Well,
you guys thinking about?
we already have the building on site. We just need to renovate it to suit our needs. So we want it to be not a huge thing. We are not looking to breed fish in quantities that we can't keep an eye on ourselves, because the last thing we would want to do is put out bad genetics or bad poor quality fish or have people have bad experiences because of mass breeding. So we're going to do it on a smaller scale because um, we don't want to put out poor quality fish. We don't want to do any harm to the fish and their quality of living, breeding them, because that takes a lot out, especially if females, they don't live as long. So you have to look at the aspect of the care and the life quality of the breeding stock that you have versus what you want them to produce healthfully to sell, what you yourself can manage. So we're looking at starting out quaint. We don't know if we'll bring on more people to build from there in the future. But for right now, we're just looking at just little old mom and pop type deal. But it will probably grow from there knowing Pevlin.
Okay, that's cool.
No, here, Fishy, I actually just moved to Wisconsin, so I'm no longer a Pennsylvanian. And now I think a Wisconsinite, Wisconsinian. We had this discussion, but we weren't quite sure. I don't like cheesehead. So I think it's Wisconsinian. I think that's what I am. Let's do it.
Wisconsinian. So what do you like most about the hobby at this point, and what do you dislike the most?
Um, I have to say, what I love about the hobby is, I don't know, this so hard to pick one thing, but I have to say I get most value out of the therapeutic level of it. Um, I definitely, I don't know, it's soothing. And even for those who suffer with seasonal depression, like it's a help to those guys too. Um, it it's just life. And sometimes when you're not feeling the best or if you're in a lot of pain, you can focus on your tanks. I think actually Alex, the Secret History Living Your Aquarium, was speaking of this when his sciatica was first acting up, how he uses his fish tanks to help work through pain. And I do something very similar. So I have to say, like, that's the best that I find about the hobby is its medicinal benefits, therapeutic benefits for me. But I have to say the least favorite part of the hobby is obviously if something happens where like fish gets sick or injured, and no matter how much you try to rehabilitate them, they're just not doing well, and then you might have to like euthanize them. That's not that's not
Yeah, it's the hard side of the hobby.
yeah. But it's also a necessary side,
Yeah,
fortunately.
especially if you've exhausted, all possibilities, as opposed to someone that's the easy, quick out. Mary Page. Or get gills. Okay. So how hmm, how do I say that? How would you hmm, how would you change people's outlook on um salt water as opposed to fresh water, since there's a battle. Because I actually didn't ask you how, if you even knew much about salt water, but what is
I
your
actually don't know too. Like I haven't kept any salt water, but I have plans. Peplin has kept salt water, so I have drilled him about it. I've asked him questions about it, and from what I understand, is that salt water is as hard as you make it. So it could be simply adding salt and just maintaining the salt scale, the saline scale on everything. Or you can get complex systems to grow corals and all that fancy stuff, or you can just, um, like, for lack of a better word, dumb it down. So that's what I understand, but I am no way versed in salt water to speak too much on it. I just know that
right?
there's a lot of cool nudibranchs, which is saltwater snails that I can't wait to have.
No. How about like the cucumbers and things like that? Aren't those in
Well,
the
yeah,
same
sea
family?
cucumbers would be cool, and like the starfish would be awesome. And I'm really into the calico pygmy seahorses. Those would be really cool to have, but it's gonna start with snails. It always starts with snails.
I
There's
need to look
nothing
into the
better than
saltwater
starting with
snail.
snails.
I hear you. I hear you. Most definitely. Most definitely. So on the therapeutic side, um, how do you feel about like tanks being put into because that's a thing that we're doing now. Tanks being put into schools, tanks being put into possible, like the prison system, um, and the importance. Do you have a feeling either way, of how important it could be and what could be the outcome of these things being implemented?
I see positive benefits to it. Um, the only kind of con I could see of it would be in a classroom, it could be distracting. So maybe if it was put somewhere where it couldn't be in view of the children all the time, or like if they needed a cool down period, or if it was time to work with something in the tank or free time, then have it exposed. But I think otherwise it would be a great learning experience, especially learning responsibility, proper um, maintenance of a pet, and knowing that it's real work, it's a real life. You need to take care of it as such, treat it as such, be responsible for it, or it perishes. And I think it could also be soothing for those who have like emotional issues, or those who may have like who are on the spectrum. It definitely helps soothe them, calms them, keeps them focused. So I can see benefits in that way. The prison system, I'm not sure. I don't know if it would be maybe for viewing. I could see it keeping them calm, but I don't know if actual interaction and engaging in like maintenance of the tanks would be therapeutic for an inmate or not. But I can definitely see the benefits, like um, calmness, patience wise, of being able to at least relax and enjoy the stress just watching this fish swim back and forth.
Because you still have like schools, like especially the institution that I work at. It's say you have older offenders, and it's more of a medical type of place, and there's and they have the full on Lee College there. So there's always true therapeutic. It's therapeutic to the truest um, use of the word, in a sense of you could consider it minimum security, and there's a
Mm.
lot focused on learning. So it wouldn't be. I don't think they would be put into like the actual living areas. At least I would hope not, because that might could go another direction.
I wasn't
But
even considering living areas. But
but
I don't know if like actually having to care for the fish would cause them to be maybe heighten their stress, if or if it would be therapeutic for them. It could honestly just be a case by case basis, because some people find maintaining and cleaning stuff like that stressful, whereas other people find cleaning therapeutic. So it could really swing either way. But I know just like like being able to take in what the activity of the tank usually decreases your blood pressure, and it helps your brain just calm down, and helps you take a breath to relax and just get everything back in line, so you can like conduct yourself a little maybe better. Like I
right,
know like when my because I suffer with anxiety, so like when I like have like an anxiety attack or like sometimes a panic attack, I need to count all the shrimp in a tank. And by finding out, searching for all the shrimp in that tank, by the time I'm done, my anxiety is over, because I've like found another way to like focus that nervous energy, and it helps.
okay. Yeah, I know it. It helped me a whole lot. I've had a few different instances. 2 years ago, moved my family from small town to the city. We had just bought a house, and I ended up rupturing my Achilles. I left the facility I was working to go work juvenile. Ruptured my Achilles like my first 2, 3 months, and was down. and went into
Yeah.
a bout of depression at that point. And I got some Walmart clear storage totes, feeder guppies, and made me some tanks. My very first videos on here. Actually, I started documenting it like then. I had a beta and a 32 gallon tote with this big giant hang on the back filter, to look back at it, But I mean, hey, it was helping me out. I don't think it helped the poor bet out too much at
I
the
bet it was in a
time.
palace. It was in a palace for space. But yeah, like even a space that big could stress them out. But yeah, I understand. Hindsight's always 2020. I get that. Like that's how
But
I learned
yeah,
not to chase pH and just work with what you have. Because I murdered some fish chasing pH, and we'll never do that again. I promise I'll never do that again.
oh, but yeah, they ought to have. Do you know if anybody has? I mean, I guess that would be a good idea. Like have facilities where people can come in and maybe just sit down and decompress, you know, with fish tanks. Because I know they have those places. As crazy as it sounds. You have beds. People come in and pay to cuddle, and I mean,
They
I've
have
seen some
those, and they also
strange.
have things like cat cafes. Like you go to a cafe and you pay for a cup of coffee, and you actually get a coffee cup filled with cat kibble, and you get to sit down and pet the cats in distress. So there are places like that, and I think it would be awesome to have places like that as far as fish. But I think maybe the greedy side of people would take over and not want to offer that for free, and that's why there's aquariums. So people are more enough to just go to the aquarium than like find free places to see fish. Although I hear Ohio Fish Rescue is pretty sweet to see in person, but they're not really there for therapeutic purposes. They're there, as a fish rescue. So
Right, right. But hey, at this point, they've gotten to such a level where if you just reach out to them, they may let you come there for therapy.
yeah, I mean, I
That's
did
good.
pass Strongsville on the way here, but that was That was day one of a 3-day trip.
Thinking about getting away your head as opposed to stopping off, not by choice, but by force.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! But we're glad to see you made it through that trip, through that ordeal. Glad to see
Yeah, it
you
was
made it through.
crazy. Like we were in Ohio and like the trailer hitch came off the ball on the highway and like swung the SUV like side to side, and like it was so scary, but we came to a stop and everything was safe, but we had to like call 911, and they had to call a tow truck, and they had to like reattach it for us, and it was on in the left lane of traffic that it happened at like an inner where on an on ramp was right there, so it was really scary. And I don't know, I think I had like 4 panic attacks, but we got through it, and like I got here in one piece. Was happy that ordeal was over. So
Right. That's cool.
I'm definitely not moving anytime soon.
Oh, moving. That was extreme because I mean, I swear, moving in any way is stressful all by itself.
Yeah.
Ooh, just the thought of it. But yeah, you're safe. You're safe.
And I thought like with my 10, like how I was physically 10 years ago, like I was able to do everything and anything. I'm like, I can do this. I'll fit into 19 hours. Won't be any issues. There won't be any pain from like the drive or anything. It might be a little sore. No, about 3 weeks ago is when the pain ended from June. So my body doesn't recover nearly as much, especially since it's still learning to feel certain things again. And I'm still like transitioning. like I just upgraded from a regular walker to like a rollator, so it has this instead of having the two wheels, it has the four wheels, and that's progress because I was terrified of them before, and now I'm super confident and I can actually walk better and getting farther. I just have to work on how long I can actually stand because I can walk, but I can't like stand still for too long. So that's where I'm at,
Okay,
learning it piece by piece.
gotcha, gotcha. What was you afraid? You were afraid that the walker would take off with you?
The rollator, yes, because that's I don't have the best center of balance right now because I can't always feel my legs. I can only feel one or part of one, or sometimes I don't feel my foot or my knee will go numb. It's really weird how my spine is like damaged, like how it's coming back. Um, but yeah, so I was terrified of being on four wheels because I would often like fall. I'm naturally a klutz, but with this, like my balance was just so bad. And I was actually talking to Ames Spirit Fish, and she suggested a rollator. And at first, I was terrified of the thought. And then randomly one day, Peplin bought me one. And he's like, "Happy early birthday. Here's something, try this one." And I was afraid to at first, but actually, it was so much easier and smoother than the old one. And I was able to move a lot easier, and it didn't jerk my lower back as much, and I have a lot more freedom of movement. So I actually do better with the new one. So it's honestly been a blessing, and I want to say thank you to Ames for actually giving me the like idea to like build up the courage to move on from my walker to that. I owe that to her.
Definitely. Hey, shout out, shout out. Good deal. Anytime someone can be from the outside, because it's again, when we're inside our own heads, we might not move forward. So as long as there's
Yeah.
somebody to water that seed, as long as there's somebody to water that seed. Speaking of that, I love you and my sisters, Mary Beth Page. Y'all's dynamic, y'all's energy together. Um,
I love
what?
her so
How did y'all
much.
end up working together?
Well, well, I originally started live streaming with Sand Creek Aquatics 2, Amy. Um, but I don't I don't quite know what exactly happened. I think she just got super busy in her personal life, so we couldn't really stream together anymore. And Aquarium Cop was bugging us for months and months and months and months and months for Mary Page and I to do a stream together. And we just weren't set up to do it. We were both scared to do it. And I knew I was going to be moving soon. So, like, I waited as long as I possibly could. And then, unfortunately, Aquarium Cop passed away. And that's right around the time that Amy couldn't stream much anymore. And it just, the opportunity struck to where Mary and I could finally do the live stream. So we actually started the live stream in the Aquarium Cop's honor because he wanted
Okay,
it so much. Just unfortunate we couldn't make it happen while he was still, but he's very much loved. We miss him very much.
yes, yes,
He meant
most
a lot
definitely.
to us.
Respect, respect to, respect to,
Very much.
respect to. Love you too, Mary.
To the moon.
Oh, well, I'm an old softy anyway. So I have to gather myself.
I cry way
uh,
too easy.
yeah,
But he did. He meant a lot
that's
to us. And he was just an awesome, awesome person. Awesome, like, human being. It's greatly
and it
missed.
just was. It was so
Sudden.
surprising to me how. I mean, I just showed up, you know, And I mean, I guess he was paying attention from the outside. I mean, I didn't know him
Mm-hmm.
initially, and he would show up in my comments, and hey man, I really like that, keep doing what you're doing. He drop little jewels. I'm like, who is this? Just out of out of nowhere, and he would just always. I post a video, and he would be in the comments. He would be in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was just a trip to me. I mean, it was like how, you know, I I'm like, how did he even know that I was? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
but but yeah, he.
And if ever you were having a bad day, man, he would bust your butt till you smiled. I loved his sense of humor. He's a great
Oh,
person.
yeah.
So our live stream was started in the honor of him. And it will continue on until either y'all get sick of us or, all the wheels fall off this train.
Hot Mess
One or
Express.
the other. Choo choo.
And how did y'all come up with Hot Mess Express?
Because we are hot messes. And combined, we are the Hot Mess Express 2-for-1 deal.
uh-huh. It's all right. When I first said, I'm like, Hot Mess Express, boy, I guess.
If you can't poke fun at yourself, then you're not living too well.
Oh, right, right. But that's cool though. That's cool. I really like what y'all. I really like
Mm-hmm.
what y'all do. I mean, cause I mean the joy that you see. I mean, it's infectious. It's authentic. I mean, there's no mistaking it. And it's beautiful, beautiful thing to see. Very much so. Very much
Well, it's hard not to be joyful. How could you not be joyful when you're on so many cool people that like I'm a fish nerd, so I'm so excited to be amongst so many fish nerds because up until like 2 years ago, I didn't know you guys existed. I thought it was like one of just a few people out in the world, liking the fish and the snails.
so.
And then I found this awesome community, and everyone's got their own story, and we all seem to find each other. And it's amazing supportive network if you have any issues like with like any aquarium issues or if you're having any other like life issues, like the fish fam's there for you. There's always someone there for you. Just got to reach out. You got to let them know what your needs are. One hand
Definitely.
washes the other
Yeah.
here, and that's what I love.
Tripod trying to act up on me. Most definitely. Most definitely. Dee Dee, I was I was so new that I only spoke through chats with Cop a couple of times. He always acknowledged me. I realized how special he must have been, as everyone was so hurt when he passed. Yes, ma'am. I,
It's
I
hard
swear it
not.
was like,
It's hard to talk about him and not cry. But was he was one of a kind, that Bjorn.
most definitely. God bless. God bless. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can inject a little, a little energy back in here. Oh, all right. What are your favorite fish?
I could tell you fish I don't like.
Oh, that'll be the second
Okay,
question.
I have to say I really really love catfish, and I'm really into corridors at the moment, especially the Julii corridors. I'm trying to Well, I've gotten them to breed, but I'm having a hard time getting the fry to survive. I don't know why that is. I think I'm gonna have to start separating them. So that's something I'm working on, but I'm really, really love catfish, and I really, really love rasboras or nano fish. That's what I'm into. right now.
Right now is keyword.
Yes, and
Right.
always mystery snails. Their snails are always going to be my number one, but they're always my number one, so that's why I don't mention them because they're always there.
So now, what fish don't you like?
I have had the most difficult time with plecos. As far as every pleco I've ever had before I lived here with Peplin, um, murdered fish, and I've had 6 different types of plecos, and every one of them either killed fish or killed my snails. I didn't understand it because I did everything everyone said. I fed them properly. I gave them plenty of hides, made sure that their tank mates weren't too aggressive or bothering them. And just after a while, they all just like ate fish or snails. So I don't really like dealing with plecos. I think they're so cool. I'd love to get some that aren't murderous. But I've had very big difficulty with those guys, trusting them with my precious fishies because I don't know if I'm gonna go to bed and wake up and they'll all be eaten again. And I'm not the biggest fan of zebra danios anymore because the group that I had, the initial group, were highly aggressive towards each other. When it came to spawning, the males would spawn so aggressively with the females that they'd actually end up splitting them in half, like
Ooh,
sometimes. And that was just way too much carnage for me to have to deal with. I'm too sensitive
ooh.
for that.
Yeah, I
So,
don't think I'd want to see that either. And I have long fin leopards in my little pond outside. Ooh, I
yeah.
haven't seen that. I'm glad mine are like
They're
not like
beautiful
that.
fish. They're beautiful fish, and in the right setting, they're a great, great fish. But for me, whatever what was going on, I don't know. I don't know what was happening, but I had like what was going on. So I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Erdan, Anita, hello, my brother. What's going on? Now, I just found out two weeks ago. Was it
Hmm.
2 weeks ago? About the meat eating plecos. Like I didn't have any
Oh
of the
yes,
plecos I
well,
had initially. They didn't eat.
I knew like the plecos that I had were omnivores. But yes, I know of some strictly meat eating plecos, which is a little scary to think about. I don't know why plecos intimidate me, but they do. They do a little bit. They do a little bit. So Peplin moves the
Well,
plecos.
see, the ones that get big like that, you don't even have to really worry about, huh?
I was given a common pleco that I took care of up until she was about 13 inches, and she bit my Blackmore, so I rehomed her because I wasn't having that. But up until then, she was amazing. But like she got so big so quick because the person that gave her to me didn't know that she was a common pleco. She was sold to her as a clown pleco, which stay much, much smaller. But when this little fishy kept growing, she handed it over to me, and I was like, I'll find it a home. And I didn't really know much about plecos then either, because that was like when I was just starting in the hobby. So I grew it up until it bit my Blackmore, and then I'm like, okay, you have to go to a new now. And she did. And she's doing fantastic, and she's like 18 inches now.
Hmm.
She's doing.
I think I've had I've answered the favorite fish question a lot, and I just realized tonight that I probably never really answered it um completely truthful. I just realized I think my favorite
Mhm.
fish would be a blackmore goldfish because
They're so awesome.
I mean I've had a few, But like I buy other things. I don't just get them because it's like I almost would want a dedicated tank to just that one fish because I remember the show Different Strokes
Mm.
and Arnold had a goldfish named uh, Abraham, a Blackmore goldfish named
Mm.
Abraham. In that that bowl that we're talking about that's flat on front and back, but it's had his Blackmore in there, and it was Abraham. And I watched this show religiously, and I guess because I looked just like the little guy Arnold on the show.
Mm.
I mean, like literally, I was around the same age. He was a little person though, so he stayed little. I actually grew up, but I was the same size. We had the same haircut. Like almost everything was the same. People used to call me him in school, and he had this goldfish, and I had to get one. And I had a Blackmore goldfish for a long time. Not the same one, but over and over and over
Yeah.
and over, till I became a fish keeper, and I don't have one, which is strange. I
I
don't have
love
one.
Blackmores. The 55 that actually broke in my apartment was holding 2 Blackmore goldfish. And when that busted, I put them in a 110-gallon pond on the front porch. But I couldn't talk my roommates into letting me bring that pond in for the winter. Like, you're not bringing a pond in the house. So I had to rehome the goldfish. So Swampy Acres actually has my Blackmores now. But they're so awesome. And they had a bunch of babies. They're so cool to watch grow up.
See, that's what I definitely would want to see. Definitely, I have seen, and this took a little while, for me to realize, but some Blackmore goldfish change color.
They do, especially if they've been through trauma, they'll turn orange.
Yeah, I've seen some orange ones. I'm like, man,
It's a,
I would
I've
not
noticed
want
it's
that
a
to happen
stress
to me.
reaction. But I've noticed that's a stress reaction in Blackmores. If they start turning orange, it's because they've had some sort of trauma.
Well, I guess I'm glad I've never stressed them out. None of the ones I had ever changed colors, but as of late, the
I think
last
that
year or
has to be
so,
like a severe trauma, like if a bird tried to pick them up and drop them back in the water, or if they had severe ammonia burn or something like that. I think something highly stressful like them actually like triggers something in their genome to activate to start changing their color. That the like the that side of the fish keeping hobby is very fascinating to me. I like the, the microscopic RNA, DNA, allele sequencing type stuff. Um, and I actually just my most recent video was a 4-day journey of watching a pygmy Corydora fry hatch under a digital microscope and all the little creatures that visited the egg and lived on the egg up until he hatched. So that was a really
mm,
cool video. I like doing those types of things. I'm a nerd
okay,
at heart.
I hear you. You're gonna make me when we get off here to have to go and look at that video.
It's a good
Where I didn't know it
video.
existed.
It's a good video. Highly recommend it. Not biased at all.
Ah, Susan, hey now, welcome in.
Hello, Susan.
Fish fam mom.
Thank you, Dee Dee. I'm glad you liked that video.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to definitely watch it tonight.
I
I'm
want
gonna
to
be up
I
for a
want to
while.
try to do it again if I am given the chance because where that egg was laid on the glass, I didn't take it out of the aquarium. That was actually filmed in the aquarium but through the glass. But unfortunately, something happened at the end. If you watch the video, you'll see what happened. That makes me want to re-record it again so I can get a better shot of actually when he hatches. Because how he hatched was just boom, and I wanted to be a little more clearer shot this time. I only filmed it with 30 frames per second, so next time maybe I'll do 60 and see if it helps better catch the moment because it's so quick.
Were there other fish in that tank?
Yes, that tank has a huge colony of cherry shrimp and dwarf amber barbs and um, Pygmy, a solid pack of pygmy corridors. There's about 18 in there right now. And the black bar endlers.
Okay. Nobody ate it.
No,
That's cool.
they all their mouths are too small. Besides, like I think the
Oh,
pygmies will eat their own eggs, but they didn't. Like these guys are really good about not eating their own eggs. So, but everyone else, their mouths are pretty tiny. Oh,
Jimmy
that's
P.
awesome, GD. Jerry doesn't give
Minoski
compliments too
Tank.
much, so. Hello, guys.
See y'all sliding in the back door. Well, unfortunately, we've hit the hour mark, but we're glad y'all got here before we got out of here. But make sure you go and watch the replay, though. Please do. Ma'am, I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much for having me. It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
very much. Yes, most definitely, most definitely. I'm telling you, the joy is infectious. I mean, nobody would know, which is a blessing in itself. The things that you deal with, that you muscle through every day. I mean, but people have to know in order to really get an understanding and to see, the gifts that you truly have. You know what I'm saying? I
If
mean,
I can somehow encourage someone to push through just a little bit longer by hearing what I have gone through and what I've persevered through and the struggles I've had to deal with, if it just gets them to one more day, then I've done my job.
most definitely, most definitely, most definitely. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. Danny Weshy, man, come on, man.
Danny, you're late to the party, buddy. Oh, I love you too, Mary. I love all of you guys. I love all of my showmates. I tell them that every Thursday, that I love spending that hour of time I get with them each and every week. It truly is a joy
show,
for me.
show mates. Most definitely.
Showmates, yes.
Hey, y'all, I'm gonna be trying a different uh, streaming time. I want everybody to be a part of this because I need a slot a little bit earlier because this has suited me well, and it may, who knows, I may still have to stay here. But it's hard for a lot of people, to come on because it's late. And I understand, especially East Coast, and I work overnight, so for me it's not that hard because 4 days a week, I'm up at this time of night.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to find a another slot that might work a little better. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I understand how it can be. You like to see your people show up, and listen to you listen to you run your mouth, and I don't want to run over nobody's time. So yeah, hey, if anybody see a slide, you're like, hey, Hank, man, try this slide, try that time, try this time. Shoot me a message, email me, anything. However long it takes me to figure this thing out, that's what I'm gonna do. But I want to thank y'all for coming through tonight, giving me a little time, you know, checking Miss Roxy out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love y'all. Love somebody. Take care of those fish. And we're out.
Bye.